world of corporate and commercial projects is a very wide one, and one that is hard to define, but essentially what I mean by corporate and commercial work is work commissioned directly by a business for either a brand film or a product video or an internal video. Now these can be aimed at just internal use, such as a big presentation to the whole company, for example, or on the company's website or social media platforms to promote the company, its products, and their services. It's a very wide and varied category, and one which a huge amount of owner-operators, small production companies, and so therefore most of you, our customers, make most of your living from. And it's a market where Sony have always been very popular in. Now there's no one clear reason for that popularity. It's based on many different factors, of course it is. But what Sony have always been very good at is offering practical cameras which offer a lot of features for the price point that they sit at and are normally recognized and used by the wider video industry as a whole as well, which gives those corporate customers that all-important peace of mind that they're in safe hands with industry standard equipment. With the FX9, it will be interesting to see how well the camera takes off in that market. The FS7 has been a pretty popular choice, but for corporate work specifically, to be honest, we've tended to find the FS5 is more popular with customers. Now this is probably because of its smaller size, its lower cost, and its higher slow motion frame rates. Corporate users don't always value that broadcast-ready inter-frame codec which the FS7 has and find that it's worth the upgrade just by itself. So it's possible that the majority of corporate users could find the FX9 overkill for their work for exactly that reason. But it's important to remember that the FX9 isn't the FS7. The FX9 is an improvement in almost every way. Just like we've gone over in several videos on this channel by now, it has better low light, that full frame look, better color, and that all-important new hybrid autofocus system. And this hybrid autofocus system could well be one of the main reasons that will attract people towards the FX9 for this sort of work, as a lot of these projects rely on interviews and piece-to cameras, just like this one right now. And that's quite possibly the area that this autofocus is going to be the most useful for. Being able to just trust the camera to pull focus as your subject shifts in their chair or leans backwards or forwards makes such a difference. It's one of the biggest worries for camera operators doing corporate interviews, as they're nearly always on their own, having to pay attention to every different aspect of production, as well as actually asking the questions and speaking directly to their subject. So it's so easy to get caught up in the interview and not notice that your subject has leaned back in their chair just that little bit, and so now they're just slightly out of focus. A camera which can track faces reliably means that you can leave the camera in face detect mode and focus on your interview and your subject. It makes interviews as a solo operator so much easier, and if you've never worked with it, I really recommend you give it a try, because I think a lot of people out there doing corporate work are going to be interested in the FX9 almost exclusively because of that feature alone. I think there's no question that the FX9 is one of the best cameras Sony have ever made for solo camera operators working in any genre, including corporate films. The full frame look helps your footage stand apart from the crowd, and the autofocus performance keeps your subject in focus even with that larger sensor and shallower depth of field. The color improvements and the improved low light performance means fast turnaround jobs are going to look even better with less effort and time required. But what do you think? Is the FX9 worth the extra money for your work? Let me know in the comment section down below, and of course if you want to buy one for yourself, just head over to proav.co.uk. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.